Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful morning. Let's start a wonderful morning with a lot of gratitude. So let's close our eyes. Check our postures, our back straight, our feet firmly placed on the ground below or cross-legged. Hands in a folding a hands way or kept open on our legs facing heaven upwards. Just concentrate today on your breathing, and now breathing from your heart. So see a point in your heart behind the organ and a little above it. Locate that place in your body. If it helps, maybe you can keep your hand on your heart. And now, imagine you're breathing in and out from your heart. And this is helping you have an expansive heart. Now fortify your heart by speaking to it. Dear heart, I am so grateful that you live inside me, that you help me see things beautifully. That I know if you feel happy, whatever I do is the right thing for me to do. People say that heart never lies. And I want to thank you for being a part of me. You're the reason why I'm so grateful. I'm tuned into the fact that gratitude is the biggest multiplier. But today I tune into you becoming expansive. Knowingly or unknowingly, I may have not allowed your expansion. With my fears, I may be not living the authentic life that I should be living by not being so true to me. I may be out here in this human world, on Mother Earth, to try and balance life by nurturing others more than nurturing you. But my today's morning gratitude practice is all about you. While I am tuning into you, I would look at accountability from you. And when I falter and my fears take over me, dear heart, will you get me out of that place? And at this same point, I want to thank all my masters, angels, spirit guides, mentors, teachers, gurus in this realm or the other, in this dimension or the other, in this universe or the other, for being there for me, for nurturing me, mentoring me, guiding me, guarding me, protecting me. At this juncture, this morning, I pray to each one of you that challenges have come. And at times, I have been shrunken low in my energy because of them. But today, I request you to help me sail through those problems by reminding me time and again that this too shall pass. And all I had to do is be true to myself. Be true to what makes me happy. Because if I am happy, I can make the others happy. If I am happy, I can spread happiness. If I am a full jar, can I spill that fullness with others? And this eternal truth is something I want each of you, my dear mentors, to help me understand. I have known about this, but it's time for implementation. I'm grateful to you, dear heart, for always being there, for helping me be happy, for helping me live joyously, for helping me feel bliss, love, contentment. And today, I tune into the energy of all things good, knowing that all things which I think are not good are actually also good. Because in a circle of life, the wheel rotates. The upside of the wheel comes, but so should the downside of the wheel come. I must tune into the fact that there's polarity in Mother Nature. When things are sky high, they also rock down bottom as well. So anytime these challenges come, let me accept them and flow, not wanting to reach the other side of the ocean. Knowing, trusting the process with you, my dear heart, knowing that the other side too shall come. But at the moment, if I'm on this side, it is my dharma, it is my karma to enjoy where I am. That each day, each moment, I follow my heart, I follow my being. I tune into myself, and whatever I do, may that be full of love, kindness, compassion, empathy coming from you, my dear heart. By now, in my soul's journey, I am once again reminded on a daily level that love is the language to be spoken because love is the only language that exists. Lack of love becomes hate, dislike, or that bandwidth. But full of love becomes love, empathy, compassion, kindness, acts of love. So while I may indulge at times in lack of it, but may I be reminded that there is always so much more in life. Dear heart, today change my vibration to look at the glass half full. And dear heart, may you be always full, just the way a mobile phone depletes its energy and it needs to be recharged. May I be recharged and replugged into you every single day by knowing that I have a companion in you. You are my senior. You were born 9 months before I was. You had life in my mother's womb. And while I may be calling you, you, I know that the universe has one consciousness. And each one of us is trying to reach that consciousness in our own little efforts. But if I start resonating with you completely, then I look forward to feeling that oneness. And I know it's possible, even in this humanly life of mine, by discharging all the duties that I do or doing what I love. And may I have the strength to nurture you more. Each day to do things that I love, especially spending time with Mother Earth, whether it's out for a stroll or just having a cup of tea sitting in the middle of her, whether on a garden in the house or a park outside my house or just with plants surrounding me, because I know that Mother Nature heals. I'm requesting all the protectors to help me change the bandwidth of my being, to help my attitude and mindset shift into the reality of life, into the spirituality, into spirit's actual reality, tuning deep within. And while we are beautifully talking to our heart, to ourselves, let's feel that one point that we have chosen in our chest, behind our heart, a little point above, expanding. And as always, we practice every morning. Take 100 odd seconds and practice the 10 things that you're grateful for. Whatever they are, feelings, emotions, people, experiences. Preferably in the last 24 hours or whenever. Grateful, grateful, grateful. Grateful for the abundant mindset. Grateful for the beautiful body that I'm living in, the healthy body that I'm living in. Tuning into the fact that whatever happens in my life is because of my consciousness. And if I was living in a poverty mindset, lack mindset, then that manifested into my body. And that could be manifesting as any lifestyle disorder, anything. Whenever I go off track, my body speaks to me. May I tune into that? And if I see sickness in my body or in any place or any person around me, may I be reminded that I am coming from a lack mindset, and all I have to do is be more grateful to change my energy bandwidth. Similarly, if I'm belonging to a mindset which is coming from lack, let me be reminded again and again and again that I shouldn't let lack of money make me compromise what I love to do, because doing what I love not always needs pots of money. In fact, love is such a simple language. Love doesn't need money. I could be doing what I love in a very simple sense and feeling a sense of being. Requesting all the masters to help us live our authentic life to its fullest. So be it. So it is. Blessed be everybody. Let's start a beautiful morning by tuning into this wonderful book that we've been reading, Many Lives, Many Masters. And in this beautiful book of ours, we will be unfolding more eternal truths, which are helping each one of us in our journey. So today we are doing chapter number 6 for those who probably weren't here, right? Now, Dr. Brian Weiss starts this chapter by saying, I now scheduled Catherine's weekly sessions at the end of the day because they were lasting several hours. She still had that peaceful look about her when she came in the following week. She had talked with her father on the phone. Without giving him any details, she had, in a way, forgiven him. I had never seen her this so serene. I marveled at this rapidity of her progress. It was rare for a patient with such chronic, deep-seated anxieties and fears to improve so dramatically. But then, of course, Catherine was hardly an ordinary patient, and the course her therapy had taken was certainly unique. I see a porcelain doll sitting on some type of mantel, she said. She had quickly fallen into a deep trance. There are books next to the fireplace on both sides. Doors that lead out into the veranda. There are 4 steps, columns on front of the house, 4 steps down. out front. Do you know where this is? I inquired. Catherine took a deep breath. I don't see a name, she whispered. But the ear must be somewhere. It's the 18th century, but I don't know. There are trees and yellow flowers, very pretty yellow flowers. She was distracted by these flowers. They smell wonderful. They smell sweet. The flowers, strange flowers, big flowers, yellow flowers with black centers in them. She paused. Remaining among the flowers, I was reminded of a field of sunflowers in the south of France. I asked her about the climate. It's very temperate, but it's not breezy. It's neither hot nor cold. We were not making any progress in identifying the locale. I took her back into the house, away from the fascinating yellow flowers, and I asked her whose portrait was above the mantel. I can't. I keep hearing Aaron. His name is Aaron. I asked if he owned the house. No, his son does. I worked there. Once again, she was cast as a servant. She had never even remotely approached the status of Cleopatra or Napoleon. Doubters of reincarnation, including my own scientifically trained self, until the past 2 months, often point to the much higher than expected frequency of incarnation as famous people. Now I found myself in the most unusual position of having reincarnation being proved scientifically right in my offices in the Department of Psychiatry, and much more than reincarnation was being revealed. My leg is very, very heavy. It hurts. It almost feels like it's not there. My leg is hurt. The horses kicked me. Dr. Weiss asked her to look at herself. I have brown hair, brown curly hair. I have some type of bonnet on, some type of white bonnet, a blue dress with some type of pinafore on the dress, apron. I'm young but not a child, but my leg hurts. It just happened. It hurts terribly. She was visibly in great pain. Shoo, shoo. He kicked me with his shoe. He's very, very mean horse. Her voice grew softer as the pain finally subsided. I can smell the hay, the feed in the barn. There are other people working in the stable area. I asked about her duties. I was responsible for serving in the big house. I also had something to do with milking the cows. I want to know more about the owners. My wife is rather plump, very dowdy looking, and there are two daughters. I do not know them, she added, anticipating my next question whether any had appeared yet in Catherine's current lifetime. I inquired about her own family in the 18th century. I don't know. I didn't see them. I don't see anybody with me. I asked if she lives there. I lived here. Yes, but not in the main house. Very small. The house is provided for us. They're chickens. We gather up the eggs. They're brown eggs. My house is very small and white. One room. I see a man. I live with him. He has very curly hair and blue eyes. I asked if they're married. Not their understanding of marriage. No. Was she born then? No, I was brought to the estate when I was very young. My family was very poor. Her mate did not seem familiar. I directed her to move ahead in time to the next significant event in that lifetime. I see something white, white with many ribbons on it. Must be a hat, some type of bonnet with feathers and white ribbons. Who's wearing the hat? Is it? She cut me off. The lady of the house, of course. I felt a bit stupid. It's the marriage of one of their daughters. The whole estate joined in celebration. I asked if there was anything in the newspaper about the wedding. If there was, I would have had her look at the date. No, I don't believe they have newspapers there. I see nothing like that. Documentation was proving difficult to come by in this lifetime. Do you see yourself at the wedding? I asked. She answered quickly in a loud whisper. We're not at the wedding. We can only watch the people coming and going. The servants are not allowed. What are you feeling? Hatred. Why? Do they treat you poorly? Because we are poor. and we are bonded to them, and we have so little compared to what they have. Do you ever get to leave the estate, or do you live out your life there? She answered wistfully, I live out my life there. I could feel her sadness. Her life was both difficult and hopeless. I progressed her to the day of her death. I see a house. I'm lying in bed, lying on the bed. They're giving me something to drink, something warm. It has a minty odor to it. My chest is very heavy. It's difficult to breathe. I have pain in my chest and my back. It's a bad pain, difficult to talk. She's breathing rapidly and shallowly in great pain. After a few minutes of agony, her face softened and her body relaxed. Her breathing returned to normal. I have left my body. Her voice was louder and huskier. I see a wonderful light. There are people coming to me. They are coming to help me. Wonderful people. They're not afraid. I feel very light. There was a long pause. Do you have any thoughts about the lifetime you just left? That is for later. For now, I just feel the peace. It's a time of comfort. The party must be comforted. The soul, the soul finds peace here. You leave all the bodily pains behind you. Your soul is peaceful and serene. It's a wonderful feeling. Wonderful, like the sun is always shining on you. The light is so brilliant. Everything comes from the light. Energy comes from the light. Our soul immediately goes there. It's almost like a magnetic force that we are attracted to. It's wonderful. It's like a power source. It knows how to heal. Does it have a color? It's many colors. What are you experiencing? Nothing, just peacefulness. You're amongst your friends. They're all there. I see many people. Some are familiar, some are not, but we are out there waiting. She continued to wait as minutes slowly passed. I decided to push the pace. I have a question to ask. Of whom? Somebody, you or the masters. I think the understanding of this will help us. The question is this: do we choose the time and the manner of our birth and our death? Can we choose our situation? Can we choose the time of our passing ever over again? I think understanding this will ease a lot of your fears. Is there anybody there who can answer that question? And Dr. Weiss says the room that they're sitting in almost like all of a sudden feels cold. When Catherine spoke again, her voice was deeper and more resonant. It was a voice I had never heard before. It was the voice of a poet. Yes, we choose when we will come into our physical state and when we will leave. We know when we have accomplished what we were sent down here to accomplish. We know when the time is up and you will accept your death. For you know that you can get nothing more out of this lifetime. When you have time, when you have had the time to rest and re energize your soul, you're allowed to choose your re entry back into the physical state. Those people who hesitate, who are not sure of their return here, they might lose the chance that was given them, a chance to fulfill what they must when they are in the physical state. I knew immediately and completely that this was not Catherine speaking. Who is speaking to me? I implored. Who is talking? Catherine answered in a familiar, soft whisper, I don't know. The voice of somebody who controls things, but I don't know who it is. I can only hear this voice and try to tell you what he says. She also knew this knowledge was not coming from herself, not from the subconscious, not from the unconscious, not even her superconscious self. She was somehow listening to, then conveying to me the words or thoughts of someone very special, someone who controls things. Thus, another master had appeared. different from the one or several from whom the previous wisdom laden messages had come. This was a new spirit with a characteristic voice and style, poetic and serene. This was a master who spoke about death without any hesitation, yet whose voice and thoughts were steeped with love. The love felt warm and real, yet detached and universal. It felt blissful, yet not smothering or emotional or binding. It relayed a feeling of loving detachment or detached loving kindness, and it felt distantly familiar. Again, there's a message for all of us coming in, which I'm guided to share with each one of us. When each morning we are being given so many eternal truths, are we using them to amplify the goodness around, to amplify the love around, to tune into that we are very blessed that every morning we get to read experiences and the masters are talking to us through this therapy of Catherine and Dr. Wise. Are we tuning into this? It's a very deep, profound, beautiful, magical world. Love is a feeling which makes us all mushy, happy. At times, tears of love come in because we are so joyous. It's universal, it's blissful, it's emotional, it's binding to the fact that you always want to feel that bliss, that love. And it's also loving detachment. Why loving detachment? What is loving detachment? When you stop complaining, for example, that my children don't call me or don't spend time with me. Because you know it's not because they don't love you, it's because they're building their own nest. So it's loving detachment. You let them fly, you let them soar. And when they come to you, you're just there for them, listening, tuning into whatever they've shared rather than complaining that, uptime mil gaya. Or detached loving kindness. What is that? When they come back to you, you know they're your children, but you also know that they are independent souls who've chosen you to be the parent. So, what is your dharma? To be loving, to be kind, and not only to the children that you've given birth to. This is for anybody and everybody who's there in your life, whether it's your offshoot, you have procreated, or you have been created, or anybody. Back to the chapter. Catherine's whisper grew louder. I have no faith in these people. No faith in which people? In the masters. No faith? No, I have lack of faith. That's why my life has been so difficult. I had no faith in that lifetime. She was calmly evaluating her 18th century life. I asked her what she had learned in that lifetime. I learned about anger, resentment, harboring my feelings towards people. I also had to learn that I have no control over my life. I want control, but I don't have any. I must have faith in the masters. They will guide me throughout. But I did not have the faith. I felt like I was doomed from the beginning. I never looked at things very pleasantly. We must have faith. We must have faith. And I choose to doubt instead of believe. Now, how many of you authentically can tell me that this is where all of us have been already or are already? There have been times in our life when we have had lack of faith, where we choose to doubt instead of believe. where we know that this too shall pass, but we don't trust the process of life that this had to unfold, so it happened. We ask questions like, why me? We don't try to understand why me. We deep down know that there are lessons for us to be learned, experiences for us to experience, because we have to tune into our higher consciousness. It's as simple. If we do not see the night, how do we see the dark? So if we don't experience what we just did, how are we going to experience what we just will? It is so simple. And yet, and yet, we human beings complicate things. Dr. Weiss asked Catherine in her therapeutic stage, in her regressive state, what should you do? And I do to make ourselves better and our paths the same. I asked, the answer came from the master who last week had spoken of intuitive powers and of returning from comas. The voice, the style, the tone were all different from both Catherine's and from the masculine poetic master who had just spoken. Everybody's path is basically the same. We all must learn certain attitudes while we are in a physical state. Some of us are quicker to accept them than others. Charity, hope, faith, love, we must all know that these things and know them well. It's not just one hope and one faith and one love. So many things feed into each one of these. There are so many ways to demonstrate them, and yet we've only tapped into a little bit of each one. Again, use a highlighter to understand that there are so many ways that life is unfolding through us, and yet have we become a conduit? Have we become a channel? Are we looking at our potential? There is so much tapped into all of us, each one of us. Are we tapping into it? People of the religious orders have come closer than any of us have actually, because they have taken these vows of chastity and obedience. They've given up so much without asking for anything in return. The rest of us continue to ask for rewards and justifications for our behavior when there are no rewards that we want. The reward is in doing, but doing without expecting anything, doing unselfishly. And this is a lesson we have been taught again and again and again and again, trying to be grilled into a mindset that कर्म कर फल की इच्छा मत कर. And yet we are victims, self-proclaimed victims of मैं ऐसा करूंगा तो अब ऐसा होगा, आप ऐसा करोगे तो. We even try to bribe our God, don't we? ये रिजल्ट आ जाए तो मैं इतना पुण्य करूंगी, ये चैरिटी करूंगी, ऐसा करूंगी, या मैं इतना दान दक्षिणा करूंगी या करूंगा. बस इतना कर दे भगवान, फिर देखा जाएगा. एंड उसके बाद फिर अगेन expectation, again rewards, again justifications, and we keep justifying our behavior again and again and again. Yes, we are humans, but yes, you and me haven't yet lived our life authentically, completely. I am trying to walk that path. Some of you may feel that, we have paid up and the sessions are available to everybody in the world. When I look at the larger consciousness, I feel, why are we just trying to be exclusive? The advantage which all of us get is right now in the callers, which is not happening, which maybe is happening, that we have an opportunity to connect with each other and talk and reflect. But that's our choice. We choose to, we may not. If we want to share, we can always type in the chat box and say, okay, today I'd like to share. So accordingly, the session will change. But because we were not sharing, the session was changing into meditation. But because of you, because of me, why shouldn't these sessions be available to the mankind? We are doing our bit. I'm trying to increase our own goodness by becoming channels for other people to grow. And whatever we are spending is going to be empowering the underprivileged lives as well. So, what am I trying here? Conscious living, becoming a channel. What are you trying here? Conscious living, becoming a channel. Together, we are trying to create things, doing something unselfishly. The last two words on this page. And what do we do every day? We pray for something for ourselves and we bless everybody with the same. Why? Unselfishly. That goodness is coming to me. May that come in leaps and bounds to the others also. Who are the others? Whoever they are. Not that we're not selective, no? That, okay, may this come to my husband or my child or my wife or my parent or my colleague or my partner. Anybody and everybody. Catherine says, I have not learned that. For a moment, I was confused by the word chastity, but I remember that the root meant pure, referring to a much different state from that of sexual abstinence. Not to overindulge, she continued. Anything done to excess, in excess, you will understand. You really do understand, she paused again. She asked in a way. I am trying, I added. And I decided to focus on Catherine. Perhaps the masters had not yet left. What can I do to best help Catherine to overcome her fears and anxieties and to learn her lessons? Is this the way, or should I change something or follow up in a specific area? How can I help her the best? Now, look at this. Here, Dr. Wise, who's so wise, who's so finding therapies, what is his intention? How can I help Catherine become a better version by dropping her fears? And he's getting a validation from the masters because he's in their presence. He's asking them, can I better myself? And guess what? The deep answer came in the deep voice of the poet master. I leaned forward in my chair. You're doing what is correct, but this is for you, not for her. So again, it's a reminder to all of us. हम चाहे हजार बार बोल दें कि I'm doing this for the others. Actually, whatever we are doing is for ourselves. Once again, the message was that this was for my benefit more than for Catherine. For me, yes, what we say is for you. Not only was he referring to Catherine in the third person, but he said we. There were indeed several masters, spirits in attendance. Can I know your names? I need guidance. I have so much to know. I asked, immediately wincing at the mundane nature of my question. The answer was a poem about my life and my death. The voice was soft and tender, and I felt the loving detachment of a universal spirit. I listened in awe. You will be guided in time. You will be guided in time. When you accomplish that you have been sent here to accomplish, then your life will be ended, but not before that. You have much time ahead of you, much time. I was simultaneously anxious and relieved. I was glad he was not more specific. Catherine was becoming restless. She spoke in a small whisper. I'm falling, falling, trying to find my life, falling. And she sighed, and I did too. The masters were gone. I pondered the miraculous messages, very personalized messages from very spiritual sources. The implications were overwhelming. The light after death and the life after death are choosing when we are born and when we will die. So beautiful, right? Read that again if you haven't. The light after death and the life after death. So imagine if there's so much of light after we pass, and everybody who crosses over sees that beautiful bright light as if the light is just on without switching off. And the life that you live there without having taken life in a human life shows that there is always life. Right now, when I talk about life, what comes to my mind is when you break the word life, Life, live in finite energy. Why finite? And everything is infinite. Because in our human life, which we say life and death, we are living in limited energy. We are not living to the fullest of our life. Fullest of our life means infinite energy, infinite gratitude, infinite light. We are all not on the bandwidth we're supposed to truly live. The dramatic messages and events cascading upon me in the office mirrored deep changes in my personal and family life. The transformation gradually crept into my awareness. For example, I was driving with my sons to a college baseball game when we became stuck in a huge traffic jam. I have always been annoyed by traffic jams, and now we must miss the first innings or two as well. I was aware of not being annoyed. I wasn't projecting the blame on some incompetent driver. My neck and shoulder muscles were relaxed. I didn't take out meditation on my son, and we were passing the time talking to each other. I became aware of just wanting to spend a happy afternoon with Jordan without watching a game we both enjoyed. The goal of the afternoon was to spend time together. If I had become annoyed and angry, the whole outing would have been ruined. Now, isn't that a very profound thing to learn a lesson from? That अगर हमने intention किया है to spend a great day or some time period with somebody, and in that greatness there's some kind of delay, what happens? We start playing the blame game. तुम डिले कर लिया तुमने इसलिए हम टाइम पे नहीं पहुंच रहे, या ऐसा नहीं हुआ इसलिए ऐसा हो गया, अब देखो ये पूरा नहीं हो पाएगा, अब क्या होगा, अब ये मिस हो जाएगा. This is a common language we talk when we go for maybe movies or maybe some events where we're running late. What are we doing? Playing the blame game. But what should we tune into? The good energy. So that that experience in itself adds value to the next following thing, because every action has a reaction. I would look at my children and my wife and wonder if we had been together before. Had we chosen to share the trials and tragedies and joys of this life? Were we ageless? I felt a great love and tenderness towards them. I realized that their flaws and faults are minor, again to be noted. The faults and the flaws in each one of us and people around us are all super, super, super trivial, very, very, very minuscule. And yet, the human mind unknowingly has been trained because we belong to that early man tribe who are still evolving, we are work in progress. We have learned two mechanisms which are embedded in our subconscious mind of fight or flight. And these are the programming that we have to rewrite. If there's a large white cloth in front of us and there's one black spot, we invariably are attracted at that black spot, not at the huge, beautiful, white, expansive sheet or fabric. Similarly, we have heard the old adages from people that 100 अच्छा करो एक बुरा करो एक बुरा दिखता है 100 अच्छा नहीं दिखता. So again, I invite you to look at your perception. Are you tuning into these societal beliefs? Are these societal beliefs becoming your beliefs, or are you happy to shed them off? Dr. Weiss says, I even found myself overlooking my own flaws for the same reasons. I didn't need to try to be perfect or in control all the time. There really was no need to impress anyone. Again, a lesson to be learned. Evaluate yourself. Are you a controller? What will show you that you're controlling? When you're giving instructions all the time. And your justification would be, if I don't, my house will fall apart, or my factory will fall apart, or my work will fall apart, or my life will fall apart. The instructions are बहुत ज़रूरी है ना. But are you trusting the flow and letting your family or your staff do as per their wish at least once in a while? And who are you trying to impress by telling that, my house is very well managed, or my work is very well managed, or my life is very well managed? You're doing it for yourself to satisfy your own ego in the veil of saying that, oh, I'm a house manager or a factory manager or the owner or blah, 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 blah. So try and evaluate your life here. I was very glad that I could share the experience with Carol. We often talk about dinner and sort out my feelings and reactions to Catherine's sessions. Carol has an analytical mind and is very well grounded. She knew how driven I was to pursue the experience with Catherine in a careful, scientific manner, and she would play the devil's advocate to help me look at this information objectively. As the critical evidence mounted that Catherine was indeed revealing great truths, Carol felt and shared my apprehensions and my joys. So, while this is a very safe space we are creating for ourselves on a daily level, to tune into the beautiful, infinite joys that life has to offer us, I invite each one of you this beautiful morning to reflect within. So, once again, close your eyes and get comfortably placed. Now, whether you wish to lie down or sit is completely dependent upon you. Just become comfortable. Remember, physical comfort is very important to go into meditative state. So if your body has any aches and pains, support it so that your body doesn't shout out in aches and pains and takes you away from a meditative state. So if you have a lower back pain, support it by putting a cushion already in advance, because you know after a while your body will ask for it. Get tuned into your breathing. Breath in, breath out. Continue enjoying this beautiful feeling of having been given a gift of life. Such a heartwarming gift. It's just beautiful. A blessing from heavens above. This beautiful breath in, breath out means we are alive, means there's so much to look forward in life for. Means life is unfolding through us. And now it's time for us to reflect the quality of our lives. Who are we? The answer could be whatever, but the eternal truths are we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are souls who have reincarnated in this life as a person we believe we are with our soul families around us. We are spiritual beings who are all the time protected, guarded, guided by our wonderful spirit guides, by our masters. When we have love, when we have reincarnated with the love beings around us, when we have abundance or wisdom, then why are we fearful or uncertain about the future? That doesn't mean that manifestation is wrong. Because at the end, each time, what we say is, this is what I think works for me, and I would like this to unfold. But I trust the process, and I believe that this or something highest better will unfold for the highest good of me and the others around. Which means we are saying that, universe, I trust you. Divine Father, I trust you. Whenever we feel we're disconnected, discharged, we should always know that love is the only language there is, and Mother Nature heals. Just the way when we go to our earthly mothers, Mother Earth is always there for us. So, spending some time with her on a daily level will recharge our hearts. All of us have a root chakra. It's the last chakra before our body splits into two legs. So, the best thing for us would be right now to imagine that we're walking on beautiful, lush green, soft as velvet grass. The grass is so high that we're able to touch it with our hands while being straight and just walking. It's like brushing your entire body. And you're like, wow, what a beautiful feeling. Your entire lower body till your hands are being caressed by this beautiful green grass. You're barely able to look at the earth because you're walking on it. And it's so beautiful. It was covered with very high blades of grass, the carpet. And right when you see and you put your eyes up, see the most beautiful garden. Tall trees. See the color of the flowers or the flowers that you like. May they be small, may they be big. See this wonderful garden filled with wonderfully colored flowers. And see your body taking in all these wonderful colors in the chakras automatically. You don't have to put your mind. Purple will go on the highest, red will go on the lowest, yellow will go in the center. Green, where you are, is going into your heart center. Automatically, the colors are going where they have to. The family of the blues is going into the corresponding chakras of your throat and your third eye. You're not making any effort, they're just happening. All the warm shades are going into your lower part of the body. The cool shades are going in the higher part of the body. Mother Earth is healing you, balancing you, aligning you. Enjoy this wonderful feeling of being healed, recharged, filled with so much of love, so much of light energy to live a life consciously. And once you've gotten this beautiful energy, sit down there on the grass. The grass bed is so flexible that it becomes the height that you want it to become. So if you want it to be lower, it'll just shrink the way you want. Because this is a magical garden that you've created where everything can change the way you want. And here, become conscious that you're not a controller, that you're just somebody who gets whatever she or he needs without putting in much of effort. And whatever scenario is changing right now, it's because you are going inward in a wonderful conversation with yourself, knowing that all your mentors are around you. So, this is a time to retrospect, introspect, to see the quality of the life that we are living. And if in doubt, know that your masters are around you, guarding you, protecting you, guiding you. So, all you have to do is, if you pose a question, wait for the guidance. And whatever guidance is coming, please do not doubt yourself. For those of you, if journaling helps, after this meditative state, journal. So be blessed and connect with your self, knowing that your masters are there to guide you, just the way we witnessed right now, that I am following this path, see it and see for yourself, why am I following this path? Does it make me happy? Remember the first meditation that we began this morning with? Following the heart. So, wherever you think there's a compromise, ask your masters. Enjoy this reflective, introspective state of being. Be blessed.